Well, everyone, let's go ahead and talk about the Samsung Galaxy S20 and see how this bad boy holds up in 2021. Now, first of all, as most of you know, the Galaxy S20 really isn't that old of a device, but it is the last generation. But this is one of those rare devices that, the past generation is better than its newer one, and it's very rare. I kind of saw this in the Pixel lineup too, but I will tell you, if you want to pick up a Samsung Galaxy S20, links will be down in the description. You can get that from Amazon and help support the channel at the same time. Now, I've already done a full review of this thing. You guys already know the outside of this device is probably still one of the best outsides of any device for that matter. Now, the front, beautiful 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display, 120Hz refresh rate, still completely holds up. It's a very, very good panel. Without a doubt, you can get this phone even 3 years from now, and it's still going to have a very solid panel for sure. Hole punch display right in the center, so it looks very good. USB Type-C, micro SD card slot. I mean, this thing is a very, very good phone for sure in terms of the outside. Now, the back is one of those things I'm not 100% too happy about. You have a glass back, no frosted glass back, triple camera setup, but I was never a fan of the back of this phone, and I really do think the Galaxy S21 looks much better on the back. Even though they have a plastic back there, this thing feels better, but it definitely doesn't look better in my opinion, but it's not an ugly phone by any means. Now, we do have to hit on the camera setup. Now, like I mentioned, triple camera setup, a 12 megapixel wide, 64 megapixel telephoto, then another 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor, and this is without a doubt still one of the best cameras out there in the market. It's a very, very good camera. You can get this phone even 7 years from now, and it's still going to be a very solid camera for sure. You have that triple camera setup, so you can obviously zoom in, zoom out, and have a very good, wide angle lens in the middle. But on top of that, you can do 4K at 60, which is great, but also 8K video. This was one of the first, I think, Samsung phones to bring 8K video, so that in and of itself was an awesome capability. On the front, 10 megapixel sensor, 4K at 60 on that camera as well, and these phones without a doubt did a really good job on the camera setup. So that pretty much covers it up there. Nothing has really changed. One UI 3 did bring a couple new features here and there, but as a whole, this is a very solid camera without a doubt. Now, software-wise, we actually did see pretty big improvements since this phone's first release. So we did see Samsung essentially increase the longevity of these devices by basically, bringing in an extra year of, full OS updates, but they also did go ahead and bring in a, year of security updates on top of that. So this is one of the longer lasting Samsung phones for sure, and I'm really happy to see that. Even though the software may not be the best, if Samsung were to ever switch to stock Android or make it more stock, this phone may actually experience that specific update. So that is another big thing. Also, that 4,000 mAh battery inside of this thing is still a very solid thing for sure. And as I've always stated, getting a bigger size battery doesn't always mean it's better battery life, but most of the time it ends up being the case. In my opinion, almost every single time. So that is for sure one of my favorite aspects of this phone that still completely holds up. And ending it off with the performance, I mean, you guys know this thing, Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, octa-core CPU, Adreno 650 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM on the single model of this device. And that still is one of the best features of this specific phone. You have that type of capability of just being able, just the performance of this phone in and of itself is super crazy in my opinion. You have a very long lasting phone when you get a device like this. And as I've always stated, that is one of the best features of this device. Being able to go ahead and essentially just use this phone and not have to worry about, having a slower phone or the slowest phone or whatever. You're not going to experience that here. I've compared it a lot to my Galaxy S21s, my Galaxy, S10s even, I guess, my iPhone 12s, my OnePlus 9s. This phone isn't a slow phone by any means, and most of the time it ends up beating a lot of those other devices too. RAM management is maybe the only issue with this specific phone, and the animation speeds. It's not the smoothest scrolling, the smoothest, app opening speeds ever, but it gets the job done, and I think you have to give it some credit there. It's over a year old at this point, but it doesn't feel like a year-old performing, device. It feels like pretty much almost the same thing as my S21, to be honest. So take it as you will. That's essentially really pretty much covers up everything. And I guess to answer the question, should you still buy a Galaxy S20 in, the mid-2021? I would say absolutely. This is a no-brainer of a device to pick up. It's a solid phone and has a lot going for it, and the capability behind this device is unmatchable in my opinion. It has so much stuff going on with it that it really doesn't make too much sense to buy any other phone besides this thing for this price tag. You can get them for like less than $600. colors. And like I mentioned, when you look at, the Galaxy S21, it was a downgrade in my opinion. There's not a lot of cooler features in the S21 that the S20 doesn't already have. And I think that is one of the best features of the S20. It just feels and still performs like a solid phone because it is a solid phone. So that essentially covers it. I mean, I'm really happy to see this type of device and see the capability behind it. So like I mentioned, if you want to pick one up, links are down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section as well. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.